Hey there, everybody. Gabby here. Just a little announcement. Stay tuned after the conclusion of the podcast, if you wish. We have a contributor from Australia, Joel Stibbard. He's been sending us some long voicemails. But they're funny and interesting, and he brings up good points dealing with gaming. Check him out, Joel Stibbard. After the podcast, after the concluding music. Don't hang up if you don't want to. And now for the show.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is our email episode where we just read emails because we have neither played anything nor done anything.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is not the email episode. I have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about the emaals, though.
That's all right. We got plenty to catch up on, that's for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm Gabby. That's Jerry.
And Enrique's not here, thank God.
Wait.
Hello there.
No.
I live.
Don't start that again.
Oh, Enrique. Just his voice.
Hello there. I live.
I miss you, Enrique. Jerry.
Yes.
You're a medical professional, quote unquote.
Yes, I am.
Have you ever intubated someone anally?
What now?
Have you ever intubated someone anally? Anal intubation.
I think by definition, I was trying to think by definition if you can do that. Like, I don't think that, like, intubation is where you put a breathing tube
Correct.
down someone's trachea into their lungs. I don't think, a colonoscopy is not anal intubation.
No. You're correct. The Economist has been discussing anal oxygen administration. Researchers are planning oxygen enemas.
Well, coffee ground enemas were a big thing and I think still are, where people absorb caffeine essentially. And I think one of the reasons why they give a lot of medications rectally is that it bypasses the kidneys, which can be very dangerous, but also it can produce different sensations as well as different types of effects from the drug since it's not filtered by the kidneys. So there's a lot of people doing enemas with coffee, not hot coffee, I assume, but there's an idea, Starbucks. Just have a hose out back for all the like a drive-through. Honey, go through. I've got to get my morning cappuccino with soy milk enema.
As far as is known, no land vertebrae.
I didn't know where that joke was going.
It's okay.
I had no idea
It's
that
okay.
joke had to come to an end. That joke had to come to an end. Did you get it? Had to come to an end?
As far as is known, no land vertebrae can perform this trick of retrieving oxygen through the rectum. But in a paper just published in Cell, describe how terrestrial animals might, with a bit of assistance, be enabled to do so. The question was, having trouble breathing through your mouth? Researchers are planning oxygen enemas. And it proceeds to describe how this particular group of people in this economist.com, it's some sort of science magazine, says the guts of vertebrates are well supplied with blood vessels to enable them to absorb digested food, but this means they can also in principle absorb oxygen, and that is precisely what happens in species such as the weather loach. As far as is known, no land vertebrate can perform this trick, but in a paper just published in Cell, terrestrial...
I know a land vertebrate that might be able to do it.
Who?
Butthole surfers. You know, like when Marky got with Sharon and Sharon got Charisse when she was Sharon's outlook on the topic of disease. Remember that? Mikey had a facial scar and Bobby was a racist. They were all in love and dying, but they were doing it in Texas.
So far.
Don't remember that song?
Oh,
Tommy
I remember
played piano
that
like a kid out in the rain.
That was one of my favorite songs. The Butthole
they were
Surfers?
all in love with
Are you talking about the Butthole Surfers?
They were drinking from a fountain that was pouring like an avalanche coming down the mountain.
That's like,
I don't mind.
Okay, I used to listen to that song on my Walkman as I used to weed eat.
Breathing rectally.
What was the Butthole
That's
Surfer's like
not-
#1 song?
Pepper. That was it. I just sang it.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that was it. No. You can't do that. You can't play that. That's against regulations. They'll come get us. They'll come. The royalties will be coming after us like an avalanche pouring down the mountain. We'll get censored. We just fought off India. We don't want to fight off Butthole Surfers.
If they can extend an offer alternative to tracheal intubation as a means of keeping those with breathing difficulties alive. So if they can't go through your throat, they're going to go through your rectum.
I don't think that'll work. I just tracheal intubated somebody last weekend. Fun
Really?
fact.
Why?
Yes.
They couldn't breathe?
There was a four-wheeler accident.
So what did you use do you use a scalpel?
No, you use a laryngoscope blade. It's a dull, flat looking. They call it a blade because it looks like a blade, but it's not meant for cutting. It's meant to be stuck in somebody's mouth and to deplace their tongue and lift up their kind of lift up all the soft tissue that's in your lower part of your oropharynx so that you can see the vocal cords, and stick a tube in between those said vocal cords into your trachea. And then, hopefully, not into your esophagus.
So you're not talking about like in the movies, they can't go through the mouth, so they just like cut their throat.
No, that's a cricoidotomy. That's a cric is what it's referred to.
Oh, see, I thought that was a tracheotomy when you go through the throat, not the mouth.
No. Intubation is where they stick a tube just down your trachea. But like when they're cricing somebody, crikey. Yeah, that's what that's.
I can't breathe, Jerry.
That's what.
I need anal intubation.
Stat.
I need it stit.
That's not how that works.
Oh, that's not what I read.
Well, you read it wrong.
Oh, wait, go ahead. Do you have more on anal intubation?
I don't actually. I can't think of anything. When it comes to anal intubation, I guess I'm constipated.
Well, get ready. It's coming. Did you know dreamt is the only word in the English language that ends in MT? I dreamt that last night. MT.
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 Is this the banter section is about dreaming? Because I had a dream the other day that I can't relate.
Why?
Do you not have dreams that are like awfully strange?
Well, they're strange, yeah. What was your dream? What do you say? Was it erotic? Was it an erotic dream?
No, I don't have erotic dreams. I don't dream about things that I experience daily. I dream about things that are...
what do you dream about? Why can't
Well, that's right. I never...
Well, just say.
I never dream. I'm living the dream. So it's rare for me to dream. And so it was just... it's unsettling when I have a dream because it's always of some weirdness, like an unexplainable sci-fi LSD type trip. Like I can't even begin to piece together what it could possibly be about. It's like a fever dream. Like and that's why I don't like dreaming at all. We are no. What is with the copyright stuff? Why are you insisting on bringing music people? I don't care if you love it. It's wrong. It's morally wrong. I don't like.
We're not making money off of it.
No, but you can't.
But we're good.
You can't do it. You don't have their permission. They're dead.
What if the Everly Brothers are dead? Am I going to call up Joe Everly and say, "Hey, can we play Dream?" No, I'm dead.
Their estate. What if somebody used your likeness for something?
Have at it.
If you just
please?
No.
Do you
have erectile dysfunction? And you've got a big picture of Bobby Moraga there just glancing off into the distance looking,
Do you need oxygen anal intubation? Gabi Moraga is your man.
You could sell that as like a thing. Like you won't catch COVID if you don't breathe through your lungs. Perhaps.
Anal breathing.
How to breathe rectally.
Yeah. I'm only used to expelling air. I'm not used to intaking air.
Here's your book title: How to End a Pandemic. Rectal breathing. Engage your pelvic floor.
You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast. You have chosen wisely. And now, letters from our adoring fans. and hate mail from our adversaries.
Okay, so if we're going to do messages from our emailers, this is one that missed our 150th. He came in a little late. Nathan Armentrout.
Hey there, Snobs. This is Nathan from California, and I just wanted to say thank you for 150 episodes, and especially for the 150th episode itself. The origin stories only serve to add more context to the amazing relationship the two of you have and the roads you've traveled. The two of you have been very open and honest about your friendship and the struggles therein, and that has painted such a beautiful picture of how friendship is not always easy, but it is worth it. I can safely say that this is the only board game podcast that has brought me close to tears. I hope you guys continue long into the future, and I look forward to every episode. I think a great topic would be for Jerry to name all of the game mechanics he hates, and then have Gabi rebut him with examples of games he likes with that mechanic, because that happens a lot. Take care, guys.
It sure does. It sure does happen a lot.
And I am ready to name all the mechanics for which I hate.
Go.
Okay. So, deck building. I do not like deck building. I think deck building as a main mechanic is a trope. I think it is a cheap mechanic utilized to buffer up games that have a penchant for randomness. And I think that deck building is just as a main mechanic, I don't like deck building.
But yet you back Rocket Men, which that's all Rocket Men is deck building. Why'd you back
Well, no,
it?
there's a little bit more. It's Martin Wallace.
Not
and I want
really.
to see Martin Wallace take.
No, you haven't played it. That's all it is, deck building.
No, I know. I want to see Martin Wallace's take on it, though.
It's the same. It's cliche. Give me Marvel Legendary over Rocket Men. My God.
I haven't played it.
was
You
bad.
haven't played it multiplayer,
Played
though.
solo. It was garbage. I don't have a list of deck building games. What's a deck building game that you like? You like several. I'd have to go through. I'm not prepared for this. Nathan, we're not prepared for this. But along his thing about us being personal with each other, Christopher E. Yeo said this was after our
Yo.
this was after our you had done your autism podcast with Bubba, and then
I'm sorry. I'm getting off track. I start thinking of that little guy that's dead that was on the Austin Powers that would always go yee. Mini-Me.
R.I.P.
All right, he's dead, isn't he? And I wonder how much money he made off Austin Powers. That was like a thing to where all he did was just.
I think that kept him going, but I mean, you know, it gave him a taste of the life. But sadly, from there on out, he was like on all those the rich people shows, the has-beens that were addicted to drugs type shows.
Oh.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being 36 pounds and doing
addicted to
drugs.
meth.
Yeah, I mean, it's like his body weight. A half a Miller Lite would lay him out.
Christopher E. Yeo says, thank you both for being so open. Love your discussion and how you speak to each other. Really appreciate it. It was enlightening. Also very entertaining. You all are awesome. Yeah, you're welcome, Christopher E. That's like Christopher E. Yeo.
I wonder what the E is for.
Exclamation.
Maybe, etc., etc. Thank you, EO.
Anthony Bain, he is from Taiwan. Well, I don't know that he's from Taiwan. He is now in Taiwan. And he's Professor Anthony Bain.
This is Professor Bain. I noticed that your thesis was plagiarized.
Are we discussing species or genus? He responded this. Okay, we're a little behind on our emails. This was in response to our armadillo episode. And he goes into great detail about the difference between species and genus, saying, first, what you have to know is that the delimitation between species and or genus are only man-made. Evolution does not decide that suddenly you are a new species or not. And that's why, for example, you got sometimes a new species of whale. It's not because nobody saw it before. It's because they did some genetic study on this group of whale and others and find out that they are quite genetically different and then decided to put this group of whale as a separate species. And he goes into
How do they do that? Like they just catch a whale and they draw its blood. They
he doesn't go into.
They just look at it and go. Oh, they go, well, I guess it must be something different.
He doesn't go into that sort of specifics, but he does go into specifics about the conversation. And then says, he says his first concert was Manu Chao. Never heard of that. Manuchao, who you probably never heard of, but he is pretty famous. 80% of the people know him in France and South America. He says he would like to auto-proclaim himself the biology advisor of the Snobs. Professor. I don't know why I'm saying Professor Anthony Bain.
What is he professing to?
He is a professor of ecology. YouTube comment on episode 150. The Meeple Junkies, happy 150th. My favorite podcast. Love you, Gabi and Jerry. Meeple Junkies. Thank you. Love you as well.
Why do we have 18 emails from a Tim Cool Lynch? Oh, that's the guy who does our that's the Meeple Sir Meeple guy, the t-shirt dude. We're selling t-shirts right and left. Thanks, Tim Kurlinchy.
Jeroen Broekstra. He says he was reacting to episode 152 of Board Game Snobs. I'd like to thank you for making the very entertaining podcast, Board Game Snobs. He is from the Netherlands. I'm a regular listener from the Netherlands because I'm not an English native speaker. I like to apologize for my English in advance. And then he proceeded to give us a very nice email. Some of these we have to... Oh, wait. I hope I can contribute with my list and Jerry's research with board gaming preferences for people with autism. So he says that he is on the spectrum. Oh, his number one game is Blood Rage. Then Scythe.
I like the fact...
Flame Rouge.
Hang on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So he goes down his list of games here, and there's two that pop out at me. One, I don't know what Q-Birds is, his number 19. I need to look that up.
Never heard of it.
Because I'm always interested when people start throwing out these, he has a lot of not mainstream, but like the respectable games on his top 20, like Carcassonne, Terraforming Mars, Terra Mystica, Ticket to Ride, Seven Wonders. If you like Blood Rage, I would say he's got the Godfather on there too, so I noticed that. So he's got like Godfather side, Blood Rage, El Grande. He's got stuff like that. So it seems like if you're really into area control, keep noticing as well that I keep noticing that he has a lot of he has Puerto Rico, Seven Wonders, things of that nature. Definitely give It's a Wonderful World a try. I'm down for their new Kickstarter on It's a Wonderful Kingdom. It's a Wonderful World to make kills Seven Wonders, and I didn't really like Seven Wonders that much, but I really like and. Oh, yeah. Wonderful World's a deck builder, by the way. Sort of, kind of.
Of course.
But, yeah. It's a great game, though. But it's not just deck building. It's more like hand management, resource management. Let's see. Russian Railroads. That's the one I hadn't played in a long time.
Well, Daniel Robert Holding says he has Up and Go with Muffins. That was correct. It's his podcast. He started another solo podcast called Dan Likes Games. Dan, short for Daniel. FYI.
Daniel. Oh, hey, I asked questions on the Facebook group. Why aren't we doing here? Let me pull those up. Those are the questions I want.
What direction are we going to go? Hold on. We still have emails. You're going to questions. Nathan Evans, I just wanted to say thank you for the info on buying and selling board games. He signed up for an account at boardgameco.com. Nathan Evans.
I love boardgameco.com. I'm about to give an advertisement for them.
We need to burn through these. Okay. All right. So we're going to catch up on the... Okay. Last one.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Because you're doing exactly what you griped about last time. You're just reading emails and not letting me comment on it. Board Game Co.
You were reading emails and you're going, oh, this is from blah, blah, blah. All right, moving on.
Board Game Co. Great company. Here's why. Because you send them all your crappy board games in a big box and they'll send you something else to play. I love them. So if you got a bunch of crap that you want to get rid of, send it to Board Game Co. You just plug in your little BGG address, your little username, look at your wish list, look at what you got to trade. They'll make you an offer. I've used them like 4 or 5 times. It worked out really good. Anyways, love them to death. I got all this. I'm going to the Facebook. Facebook's where it's at. You're living in the past. I'm in the future. This is 2021. Let's see. Mike Poole asks if you could pick one game to play right now, right this second, what would it be? Yeah,
Barrage.
I'm gonna get some tea. You answer that one.
Barrage again. It's been a while since I played Barrage. It's got a solo. Never played it solo. Speaking of solos, I tried to play Merv solo. Oh my god. Oh my god. Not only do you have the
Merv sounds like a bald pawn shop owner.
Mervin Solo is his name, and nobody likes him because he's always bringing his friend along that you have to also compete against. And it's just, oh my God, Merv looks like a good game. It's got a lot of stuff going on. It kind of reminds me of like a Lacerda type game. You have this central action that you do. Literally, all you do for your first action is move your guy along this track, pick which row you're going to choose. And when you choose that row, well, then from there on, your choices are exponential. So then you go from there to many other different tracks. But the solo, oh my God, the solo is just like, I hate solos. And this is what I said about this game. And it's like on Mars. It's like, okay, so this is what you do with this dude. When you do the solo, move him. Okay, if this space is available, then do this and this and this. If that's not available, then do this and this and this. If that's not available, then do this and this and this. And it just, you have to go down this whole freaking checklist of what's available, what's not, what he can do. If these things are tied for this, go down to this. And it just exhausted me. And then in a solo of Merv, you have to do the same thing for this other player, the other bot. And it's just exhausting.
I would like to play Barony right now. Yeah, I'd love to play Barony right now. I like a 4-player game of Barony, to be honest. I just because we just played Hansa Teutonica, and I have some weird feelings about comparing those two games together that I'd like to suss out. That's not how you say his name. There's no vowel between the V and the N. It's just Ross Vandal. Ross Vandal. Is Riverdance a secret satanic ritual, and why is it so? First off, don't be hating on Riverdance. I mean, because that's number one. That's Richard Simpson's people. They invented that, and Riverdance was the titular line dance for Irish. Is it Irish or Scottish? I get them.
Richard is Scottish.
I get those mixed up. Either way, that's a titular dance. It's titular. Stop knocking Riverdance. You made me want to watch it. Speaking of Tricky Dick, he asks, you and Gabi decide to go into business. What kind of business would that be?
Methamphetamines.
No.
Why?
You don't know enough about chemicals to make meth.
All you need is some Sudafed and battery acid. You're good to go.
No, it's not what you need.
I watched the YouTube videos.
No,
I've been going to the drugstore and getting lots of Sudafed. We're good to go.
Don't be saying that on here. You're going to have the FBI. You're going to get swatted.
I've got some lithium. I got some lithium ready to go.
Got lithium. Either ways, kind of business would Gabi go into? Number one, that wouldn't happen because I wouldn't go into business with Gabi. Number two,
I'd have a food truck making burgers. I could make a really good burger.
Gabi's burgers, Gabi's gyros.
Ooh, Gabi's gyrations while he makes burgers. I would just sit there and like just rotate my hips in an erotic manner as I made burgers.
That's a good thing. Urban Presker says,
you didn't say your business. What's your business?
I said I wouldn't be in a business with you. He said if you and me were in a business, I'm not going to be working with you in your gyrating gyro business.
Gyrating gyros. Makes sense to me. I love gyros. And actually, they're not called gyros. They're called gyros.
Gyros, yeah. Urban Presker says, would you rather fight a human-sized armadillo, a human-sized squirrel, or 100 squirrel-sized Enriques? I'd rather fight 100 squirrel-sized Enriques because you could just wait and catch them off guard by attacking at dawn. They'd all be asleep.
Yeah, an armadillo, that's got too much armor. Can't go against all that armor.
Also, human-sized squirrels would not be impervious to falling damage. FYI, that question was brought up. Reach terminal velocity. I'm assuming that these human-sized squirrels are comparable in weight. Milk chocolate or peanut M&Ms? Obviously, peanut M&Ms. Jim Crimmings. And Diet Coke or Pepsi. Diet Coke is addictive because of the aspartame. Everybody drinks Diet Coke. Nobody in the South drinks Pepsi.
Ugh, Pepsi.
Nobody.
It's Coke or Dr. Pepper.
They do it secretly. There are some closeted Pepsi drinkers here in the South, but nobody openly drinks Pepsi here. Paul Gelder, which game have you played the most? Well, Paul, I don't know, to tell you the truth.
Viticulture.
The game of life.
I can tell you what Jerry's played the most, according to my BGG stats. Let me tell you right now. You know what? I can tell you right now. Let's see, where's Jerry?
While you're doing that, I know offhand games that I don't record with Gabi. I used to be Robinson Crusoe was my number one played game. I played that several times a day, but I haven't played it in a long time. I really need to set that back up.
You played Yokohama with me 15 times.
Yeah, Yokohama. Yeah, I've played Yokohama a lot on BGA, so I would say that's probably it. Let's see.
Let's see. See, you're supposed to have this prepared, not let's see. Ugh.
No, I am prepared. I read these questions and thought about it.
So then why are you saying let's see? Let's see.
I'm seeing what I want to say for next episode. Oh, Jeff also says, do you have any board game superstitions? Oh, well, it's not a superstition. It's actually a fact that you shouldn't have things piled up on the table. They should be in ramekins. That's how it is. You don't have stuff that's willy-nilly laying about.
I can't handle anything on a table. I can't have anything on a table. It's got to be in a ramekin.
It's got to be in a ramekin. And if you don't use ramekins, you're a heathen or a Pepsi drinker or a Trevor.
Oh my God. Look at me starting Trevors.
Oh, Trevor Franklin, most of us watch some movies and TV shows that are just for fun, but are still excellent entertainment, like The Mandalorian or most Marvel stuff. But we also enjoy more serious thinky shows. We usually, let's see.
What's he saying?
We don't view it as a one-way street. I don't know. He's not asking a question. He's just rambling on. So why does it seems to be the expectation in board games? This is exactly a Trevor question.
Trevor.
It takes one line to ask
such
a question.
Trevor.
A bunch of Trevors. Oh, so here's his question. Finally,
jeez.
Why does it seem that that's not the expectation with board games? We're supposed to start with lighter gateway stuff, but not look back once we graduate to heavier stuff. As a guy who equally and for different reasons enjoys Ticket to Ride in Grand Austria, I'm curious on your thoughts on the matter. Well, Trevor.
Oh, let me guess. Trevor would also enjoy Splendor. Just saying.
He's drinking Pepsi right now.
He's drinking Pepsi. He's drinking Pepsi, playing Splendor. No can do. This is the thing. With movies are a different medium. So it's like you really can't compare. You can't compare the two. Board games are different altogether. It's like once you get associated with one, that something might be unique and different to you, then you move on. I don't mind Ticket to Ride. It was okay the first couple times. Catan. I love Catan the first time I played it. That's what got me into the hobby. Loved it. Freaking loved Catan. Do I play it all the time now? No, because the mechanisms that it introduced to me have been further improved upon. In movies, there's not many movies that have been improved upon. The technique, the story building, you might compare that to like movies from the 50s and 60s. The way they acted, they kind of overacted in those movies. It was kind of weird and kind of cheesy. But yeah, there's still some classics in there. But they don't compare to the movies now. I wouldn't watch a movie now and say, "Oh yeah, this is less than a movie from the 50s or 60s," because there's very few movies that are old. Gone with the Wind, Citizen Kane, whatever you want to talk about. They were trendsetters, but then you get a whole bunch that were just not near as good. They just weren't as good because of the way they were.
I can't disagree with you more on that movie thought, and I don't even know where to begin with that, other than the fact that you are using a metric to judge older movies that I don't think is necessarily the metric that most people would use.
The way Cary Grant talked, he used this accent that was specifically made for movies, and nobody.
I'm not arguing that. I don't even want to get into that. We'll have to part two that.
You can't. To me, you can't even compare it because movies and board games are two completely different mediums.
Well, I think you can compare them from the bird's eye view of what he is saying. He's not comparing board games and movies. He's comparing the experiences of board games and movies. What Trevor is doing, and it's hard to understand a Trevor.
What I feel like Trevor is asking is, like I'll say, I've started off watching cartoons. Now I'm into Godfather.
Right.
Whereas you're going with board games, you're going from Ticket to Ride to, I don't know, some GMT war game. I don't know.
No. What he's saying is that when you enjoy certain lighter films, comedies, whatever they might be, just shows that are stupid, like you think of like Dumb and Dumber.
There you go.
Like,
that's what I'm talking about.
I think most people are going to agree, even if you are just a staunch Oscar bait type film watcher, that Dumb and Dumber was just dumb fun. It was enjoyable to watch. It was two stupid people doing stupid things that made you chuckle. It's a great show. But what he is saying is that that's kind of the back and forth that happens in movies. You can be a staunch drama person, but occasionally enjoy a fun film. He is proposing that it seems like in board games that we have this expectation that you start with lighter gateway stuff, and then as you graduate and move up to heavier stuff, you never go back to to playing lighter games. They're beneath you now. Is the point that he's making? Is that the thought process in board gaming?
Yes.
And I would say that, well, yes and no. I think that it depends on the person. For instance, I think if you start off as a light gamer and you're playing games just for interaction with other people, you tend to lean towards party games and lighter games because you're focused on the interaction with people. If you are the type that you're trying to use board games as like this cerebral experience and really break down and understand the games, well, it's just natural that you're going to keep moving on. You're going to be chasing that high, that complexity, and you're just going to keep playing heavier and heavier games, and you're going to shy away from the lighter ones as you look back. And so it's really to the personality of the person. For instance, I think we enjoy some light stuff. I mean, there are some games that are very easy to play that we thoroughly enjoy that would be considered light. There's even some gateway games that I think are really good, and I have no problem with it. I don't feel like I have to play a medium to heavyweight Euro every time I sit down. I equally enjoy it, but I will say that there is this underlying tone amongst some board game groups that you advance. It's like you've been doing kung fu for so long, now you're a black belt, and you should never look back. You should never play a gateway game, which I don't agree with, because to me, I have played some truly great games that were very light with my children and just been like, this is an amazing game. Like this is what this is teaching. This is how this operates. And I think you're doing yourself a great disservice if you don't take some time and look back and play the lighter games or the gateway games that are coming out, as time goes on, because you might miss something that truly is fascinating. I would also say the same is true using Gabi's analogy with movies. Looking at only newer movies and comparing either the production value, the acting, whatever that might be, and saying, well, of course, if it's newer, it's going to have a leg up on these older films. I think that you miss a lot of and don't appreciate a lot of what those older films were trying to do. I think that's the same with some of these heavier games that you miss. That if you just stick within your realm and don't really break out of whether it be your weight class, if you like medium weight games or lightweight games, or play something heavy once in a while, you never truly come to appreciate some of the great designs that are out there. even if it's a game that you might not necessarily ever play again. And I think everybody has done that at some point in time. You have played a game, you've enjoyed it, and thought to yourself, I'll never play this thing again. I have no need to. It was technically great. I appreciate what it did. It was mind-boggling. Yes, I can even see why some people would love this game. But for me, it's not there. I'm glad I played it, but I never want to play it again. And if I had to throw one out there, Zolkin. Zolkin was that for me. That was one of those games that I played and thought to myself, what a brilliant game. What a phenomenal design. I'll never play this thing again. I have no desire to. But what a heavy, thanky, it had literally everything from the design of the board to those gears to the amount of planning that you had to do to really be able to both take rewards now or let them build and accrue the power later and then take them, and the various strategies. Yeah, wonderful game. I have no need for it. Have absolutely no need to play it. But yet I can appreciate it as one of the greatest.
Well, I think if I understand his question, there's some things like there's many games that just incorporate one or two mechanisms. Ticket to Ride, route building, set collection. And once you really get into gaming and you familiarize yourself with these so many different games that have these mechanisms in it, then you're always wanting to challenge yourself more. So yes, Ticket to Ride is a great introductory game. Carcassonne, great introductory game as far as worker placement, tile building, whatever that is. There's a Splendor set collection, the most basic set collection game there is. But as a gamer, once you play those, you tend to grow from that. So then you're wanting the next challenge. You're wanting the next challenge. Okay, I've played Ticket to Ride. What can we play after this? Airlines Europe. It has route building, set collection, but it's also got stocks. Okay, so now I'm into stocks. What can I play? Well, now I can play a stockpile. Once you get in a stockpile, start learning about stocks, then you can go into other stuff. And it's just like, once you get into board gaming, you're building upon these mechanisms, and I would say, I presume, as most board gamers do, they want to build upon mechanism, and they're looking for that next thing. In general, most people aren't wanting to stick with route building, set collection. It's different with movies. Movies are a different whole different thing. So it's like, I think it's just a natural progression of the medium that you're in. You're in board gaming. You can't really compare apples to oranges because it's movies. But it doesn't mean I will never play Ticket to Ride. It's just I progress in there. Yeah, that was great. I enjoy set collection, but I also would like to have either deck building, worker placement, or bidding. Name any. There's a myriad of different mechanisms that you could incorporate into those that we have since moved on to. And that's board gaming.
True. That's very true. I think that's an interesting discussion. And we're going to have to part two this because my daughter has just gotten back and I promised to make her pancakes. She's
what's up, Kaya?
Into her room.
What's she doing?
She specifically told me, I want you to make me pancakes for dinner. And I'm like, all right, I will. And I have to. So we're going to part two this. We do this breakfast for dinner because I make awesome pancakes. And
what's so special about your pancakes?
I make Japanese souffle pancakes.
What does that mean?
They are a type of pancakes that are uber fluffy, like a souffle, and they are hard to make. And they're sugary and light and fluffy, like you. So
sounds delicious.
Yes. So, all right, just remember, we got to sign off. Send us hate mail, boardgamesnobs@gmail.com.
Send us your voicemails at boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. I'm Gabi.
And some will die in hot pursuit and fiery auto crashes. Some will die in hot pursuit while sifting through our ashes.
That's Jerry.
Some will fall in love with life and drink it from a fountain that's pouring like an avalanche coming down the mountain.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.
Hey, so hello Gabi and Jerry. This is Joel from Australia. Gentlemen, just giving you sending you a voicemail because you guys are keen on these sorts of things now, and it's easier for me to do this than write an email, or at least I'm more motivated to do this. You might know me as William Nillifer, which was just a play on willy-nilly that I came up with one silly day. You hear a dog barking, it's because I'm out and about walking my dog. And I'm thinking I might send you guys one of these things once a week or something. Look, you can enjoy this once a week or so while I take my dog for a walk. I can just give you my musings. Also, don't expect you to play any of this stuff on your podcast, because it's going to be a bit of dribble compared to some succinct little, congratulation voicemails or whatever else you might get. Speaking of which, congrats on 150. What are you at now? 155 or something by the time you get this. Killing it, boys. And look, I really enjoy the podcast. It's very funny, blokes crack me up all the time. But it's also amateur enough to at least motivate me to maybe give it a go myself. And I'm contemplating doing it with a mate of mine once he's doing some renos at the moment. But once he's done, the plan is to have a podcast of our own. I think we're going to call it On Board, Let's Watch a Movie. Yeah, that old trope of being a pun on the word board, but he doesn't play board games and I don't watch movies. Because then when you guys talk about movie references and stuff, I've got absolutely no idea what you're talking about most of the time. Seen one or two of the Marvel movies, never seen Avatar. I just don't watch them, but he watches them all the time. And it's always a source of entertainment when he tries to tell me about a movie and I've got no idea. And it's the same with board games. Him and his missus did Pandemic Legacy Season 1 with us, but after that he was like, don't know. But I really obviously I'm a massive board game fan, that's why I listen to you blokes, although you don't talk about board games too much. But yeah, what was I saying? My dog just took a dump, so it was like, when that's distracting. He doesn't watch he doesn't play board games and I don't watch movies. So the idea is, it's good enough. It's a good excuse really, just to get together once a week or fortnight. But the idea is we watch a movie one week, one podcast, play a board game the other, and then we just drink and talk about them and just see what happens. Don't expect to get any listeners, just like you blokes probably didn't when you first started. But who knows? Hopefully we can keep it up. Well, hopefully we can get started. That'd be the first thing, wouldn't it? But yeah, no, I would like to. So any advice you have around mics and editing software, and I guess what not to do early on would be good. I don't know. I don't even know if you'll listen to this or whatever. You've probably deleted it already. If you're still listening, thanks. Nice one. What else was I going to say? Don't know. This could be it for the first one. Yeah, again, just congrats on 150, gents. Board games? Yeah, that was it. First of all, my favourite board game is Barrage, but I'm really bad at it. You guys recommended Barrage, so for that, another thank you. But I guess I was wondering if you guys do you ever play a game so badly that you question your own intelligence? I ask this because it's happened to me quite a bit. I play a lot with mates, they're all fairly intelligent, but I'm a smart bloke too. But I get flogged like all the time in a lot of resource management engine building games. And Barrage, my favourite game, I've played it 10 times maybe, which for modern day board games I think is a lot, particularly for a heavier game. And I played against guys that I've never played the game before, and they've soundly beat me. Never played it. They're heavy Euro players, gamers, so, obviously they get the concepts really quickly and all that, but bloody hell. And it just happens all the time. Resource management, as I say, engine builders. And I think a lot of it's to do with the fact that I don't pay attention. I think it's my concentration levels. There's this straight away zoned in to understand the game, process what's got to happen to get, maximise their points or whatever. but I just chat in between turns, like a minute just for a bit of social interaction a lot of the time. And so I tell myself that, right? And I think, oh, that's why these guys just concentrate and I just sort of faff around or whatever. But yeah, it's still a bit demoralizing. Like, I'll give you one example, then I'll hang up. Terra Mystica, right? I don't know if you guys have played it. It's obviously very heavy. I already knew that I sucked at most like that I was terrible at this sort of stuff. And these guys are, smart fellas and right into their game. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to download the app. I played the app a couple of times. I even watched a freaking strategy video. I've become the person that I despise. Just to get a little bit ahead, right? Just to think, oh, okay, I just want to be competitive. I just don't want to come last. I just don't want to get flogged. We start playing, I screwed up a rule or got messed up early on. And from there, it was all downhill, right? And the scores in the end were like, old mate that won was like 120. There was a 112 and a 108 or something. I had 42. It was, oh man. And they were all nice enough about it. And they called me a good sport afterwards for like copping it. And I was halfway through, I just wanted to leave, but you can't do that. So yeah, I guess my question is something perhaps you can discuss or muse over. Yeah, what do you guys, do you get to that point? You get flogged that badly in games, you just think, oh no, am I an idiot? Am I truly, is there something wrong with my brain? Honestly, sometimes I question it sometimes, particularly when it happens with semi-regularity, I'd say. I win some, but I very, very, very much lose some, or lose many too. Anyway, Garby, Jerry, if you're still listening, one of you, if you're still listening, thank you. And if you respond favourably, maybe while I'm walking this dog every week or so, I'll just send you one. Maybe not this long-winded or whatever, but yeah, look, just a bit of fun. I just get lonely. Need someone to talk to. No, that's cool. Thanks boys. Thanks gents. Love to